beginning of that start to happen at Wrigley Field this weekend. I think, their offense has been averaging something ridiculous, like 5 runs a game. But when you kind of look at the lineup 1 to 9, it doesn't necessarily translate for me. They kind of went like future is now mode coming into the season, putting Jackson Chourio on the big league roster right to start. That hasn't really worked out, especially the last 3 weeks. He's looked very lost at the plate. And I think they did that because they kind of knew that they had to catch lightning in a bottle. If they didn't, they probably weren't winning much this season. So to me, it's very surprising to see the Brewers where they are, knowing the following. 1, they lost their manager to the Cubs. 2, they lost Corbin Burns in free agency. So that's a great baseball manager and counsel. Arguably one of the best pitchers in the league in Burns. Going down the list, Devin Williams out till the middle of the season. That's their best reliever. Then you go to the IL. Brandon Woodruff, done for the year. Wade Miley, done for the year. DL Hall gets off to a nice start. He's on the IL. Jacob Junis is another pitching option that they had. He's on the IL. So in my opinion, like, the Brewers offense can't just cash in on every single scoring opportunity and continue to win games when I don't think that they can keep the other team off the scoreboard without those guys that I just mentioned. And that's where I think it's going to be a little bit of an issue here, because the Royals, like I said, I think this offense is for real. Last year, they were way toward the top of the league, like further than they should have been in hard hit rate. It didn't translate to wins because they were kind of in a rebuilding mode. But now those hard hits are starting to go for hits, for home runs. And that, I think, is a predictive measure. You got a team that's hitting ropes all over the place. That's typically going to translate to good offense. And that's what's happened for the Royals. And I think Bryce Wilson might be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get the start here for the Brewers. He's kind of been thrown into the rotation, not really an elite starting pitching option. But again, I just rattled off a bunch of guys that they don't have, and he's kind of gone through unscathed so far. But he's faced the Pirates, Rays, and Padres. Not exactly, murderer's row, and that was a Padres team that's been cold. So now you're going to get the Royals, who are smoking the ball everywhere, and I think he could be in trouble here. On the other side, you've got Cole Ragans. He's awesome. He's an ace, and, he's as good of a young pitcher as you're going to find in baseball right now. For context, he just beat the Blue Jays twice, and that's a Blue Jays team. Say what you want about them. They rake left-handed pitching, and he beat him back-to-back games. The only bad start he had this year was the Orioles, another team that crushes lefties. The Brewers, I don't think, are going to be able to do that to him. So this one didn't make my client card because the price was still a little bit up there. -140, -145, knowing that, you're probably going to need the Royals bullpen here a little bit. But I still think the Royals are a team I want to play on. And I think the Brewers are a team I want to fade. So I'll take a shot for a free play with the Royals -140. I think they knock around Wilson and get it done.
Adam Trigger says Kansas City, some chalk worth laying on a Monday night that the Royals – and Kansas City's been a very good favorite so far this season. They've been cashing in this role. Adam says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What do you have to promote today, my friend?
Man, Teddy, I probably should be promoting something here, but I'm just going to vent for a second. My whole baseball season, MLB has gone, get in the plus, lose 4 straight. Battle back, really hard to get in the positive, lose 3 or 4 in a row. So over the weekend, I lost, I think, 4 in a row in MLB. So we're at the part of the program where hopefully I'm battling back. I'm just going to give you the play because it's an afternoon play. I played Giants +1.5. That's the 4% play. I do have a KBO play that's going to go overnight. That's what's going to be up for sale. I may add another MLB. I'm not sure. But right now, it's Monday afternoon. The only thing I have is Giants +1.5. And since it's a day game, I'm just going to give it to you for free. So if you want to buy something, that 7 for 11 special is great. It's up for all handicappers and MLB through the All-Star break. I think I'm going to finish stronger than, the last weekend, which wasn't good for me. So that's something to look at too.
We've just begun, bro. No worries. We're only a couple of months in to a 600-month baseball season, so lots of
I've been posting minor league baseball winners for free over at Twitter. Those have been winning. So if you can bet AAA, I've got winners for you for free at Twitter.
You know what? Baseball Baseball will be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you. Get out of here so we can continue the show. Please do. Teddy, I've lost the plot, dude. People were worried about me when the Leafs lost. Same old Saturday night in May, people. Nothing has changed in 57 years. I'm 55 in a few weeks. Teddy, I got a couple of things to take care of before we get into your big game breakdown. First and foremost, I am on a 14-0 run. 14 wins, 0 losses in 4% bets. I have a 4% bet tonight in the NBA. I also happen to have a 4% bet tomorrow in the NHL. Guys, please do not miss my 4% plays right now. I've won 14 straight. Lastly, and I want to put this Bon Jovi Kiss nonsense to bed, Tokyo Brandon doesn't shut up about Kiss. On and on and on ad nauseum. His argument is that they've sold more albums than any other band, therefore they're the greatest. So under that scenario, the Big Mac is the best hamburger in the history of the world. Teddy covers your big game breakdown.
Let's talk about the Pacers and the Knicks. Game 1 action from Madison Square Garden with today's big game breakdown. Right now, look at the WagerTalk Live odds screen. More 5.5s than 6s for the Knicks. It is a split line right now. If you want to lay 5.5, you can find plenty of 5.5s to lay. If you want to take +6 with Indiana, you can do that as well. Total sitting in the 217.5 range. The Pacers' last 5 meetings against the Knicks. 129, 141, 140, 125, and one time they scored 105. And yes, that was the one that they lost, And again, these two teams played 3 regular season meetings they played between Christmas and New Year. The total was 248 and went over. 235.5, 237.5, the 2 meetings after that. So we're legitimately talking a total that's 30 points lower than the first time they met and 20 points lower than what we've seen as a prevailing total between these 2 teams. So we've seen a pretty big adjustment when it comes to this total. Now, Indiana just faced an elite defensive team in Milwaukee. And yeah, I'm going to call Milwaukee elite defensively when it came to the postseason. The defense in the games that the Bucks won was phenomenal. That being said, the Pacers hung 120 plus on them in all 4 wins. The Knicks-Sixers was the slowest paced series of any of the first 8-round series. They still cashed 4 overs to only 2 unders. All right. So the Knicks can cash overs even in slower paced games. And the offensive, Jalen Brunson's been phenomenal. No argument if you want to take Jalen Brunson over 44.5 points and assists tonight. He's been a machine here in the postseason. He's been a machine against Indiana. Scored 40 in one game against them, 39 in another. So 44.5 points and assists for Brunson. Certainly something worth noting. And of course, he scored 39, 47, 40, and 41 the last 4 games against Philly. So maybe his usage rate goes down a little bit here, but he's as rested as he's going to be. That being said, Brunson over, yes. Full game over is the bet that I like best for this one. Indiana's proven they can move the ball against the Knicks. The Knicks, even with a slower pace, the offensive efficiency has been there. No surprise that we see fouls. No surprise that we see some late scoring if the game is close. Put it all together. Let's look at the Knicks Pacers over 217.5. And there's your big game breakdown. Take advantage of that 7-Eleven special at WagerTalk.com. Buy 7-day all access. Get 4 days free. It's real plain and simple. Don't buy a play, buy a package. Get on board right now at WagerTalk.com. Lawrence?
Theodore, so I'm going to ask the listeners to put something up in the comment section, but guys, don't do it while we're live. Let the show go up, and then what I want to hear from you is your top 5 guests that come on Wager Talk today. You don't need to rank them in order. Just give me your top 5 guests that you enjoy listening to. Please put this in our comment section. I am going to serenade the winning guest. So That'll be really excellent. I'm going to do it live on air with Teddy. So make sure to put that up. The top 5 guests that you like on WagerTalk Today. Teddy, you are so not amused today. You give love a bad name, bro.
So I'll do it falsetto if we're gonna sing, dude.
Okay, come on, let us hear you sing. What do you want to sing?
Not a chance. Thank you for asking.
You do have an extremely gifted and talented musician in your family, though. Can he sing?
Yes, better than I can.
Anybody can.
But his
sing
voice
better
is
than
he's doing the voice cracking stuff now. So he's a little
yeah. So I had my dad's 80th birthday party on Saturday night. I had to tape the Leaf game, dude. I had to start that mess at frickin' midnight.
Why?
What?
I thought you were an Oilers fan now, and you don't care about the Leafs anymore.
Oilers fan now. I'm also a Vancouver Canucks fan and a Colorado Avalanche. Anything but the Leafs. Anyway.
But you still taped it and then watched them lose starting at midnight.
No, because yes, I got issues, Teddy.
That's how you're an Oilers fan, an Avalanche fan.
Dude, they're my better roses. Andrew McInnis joining us, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Jesus Christ. Does he remind you of somebody?
Who?
I don't know.
Andrew McInnis.
Damn.
He looks like McInnis to me.
Yeah, he does look a little McGinnis-y. Andrew, let's get into it. I'm losing my shit today. Bruins and Panthers are playing tonight. I was hoping that it was the Leafs and the Panthers, but same old, same old. Where are you going? How are you betting this game?
I'm going to bet the total in this game here, guys, and I'll cut right to the chase for what could possibly be any type of follow-up question would be, why would anybody want to bet an over in the NHL right now based on what we're seeing? You know, we've seen 1-0 games, 2-1 games. A lot of those have been towards the end of the series here, but we've got a case of a team that should be absolutely exhausted with the Boston Bruins just finishing up an overtime game 7, traveling back and forth, Toronto to Boston, playing low scoring, excruciating games with block shots, all of that stuff mixed in versus a Florida Panthers team that should be very well rested. Haven't played a game in many days. Does rest mean rust? And I think it does a little bit. I think that if you take a team out of that high intensity that is playoffs hockey, it does take you away from it. Now, Florida knows what they're doing. They'll jump right back into it. But if you take a look at this matchup here as a whole, the offensive weapons that they have and how aggressive both teams are, I see a lot of goals. More importantly, I see a lot of power play goals. Take a look at the Boston Bruins, for example, how many power plays they gifted the Toronto Maple Leafs during that first round matchup. The Bruins should be so thankful the Maple Leafs went 1 for 21, I believe, 1 for 22 on the power play throughout the entire first round. We might be talking about a whole different series here if that wasn't the case. And as far as this Florida Panthers team, people say being top heavy isn't a good thing. But if you've got your top players scoring every single game, Sam Reinhart, Matthew Tkachuk, Carter Verhaeghe, they're about as consistent as you can get. So when I look at both these teams and the situations they're in, it's kind of two opposite ends. It's a team that's really exhausted versus a team that I think is going to be a little rusty because of how much rest they had. Over 5.5 used to be a dream during the regular season. 6.5, 6, even the rare 7 were the common totals. Now we're getting a plus price, guys, on an over 5.5 between two talented teams. Game 1 in Florida, I'll go over 5.5 here.
So I want to ask about the side, even though you're not betting the side here, but because it intrigued me. The number intrigued me because you talk, and you would expect to see a team coming off a brutal 7-game series to be maybe a bigger underdog here than the Boston Bruins are. Is this respect for Boston in the line for game 1? Is this disrespect for Florida? The series price is higher than the game 1 price, even though situationally it's supposed to be a bad spot for the Bruins in game 1. If we look at the NBA, for example, money's pouring in on the Celtics against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just played the 7-game series and have to now travel to Boston. Why isn't the money pouring in on Florida here?
I think it will later on today continue to. I think we'll see more of it, Teddy. But I think that people really do respect the fact that a team is in the rhythm. And that's just how I feel. I think that it negatively, I think, Teddy, more than the NBA, rest sometimes can be a bad thing. Would you agree, Teddy? Sometimes in the NBA, like the more rest you have, the better in the playoffs overall with your handicapping. Like I find in the NHL, I've seen a lot where if you're overly rested, it might not be a good thing. Would you say, Teddy, in the NBA, it's not usually a bad thing? The more rest, the better?
Maybe for a half. It can take a team to, but when it comes to the full game, rest advantage is real.
Right.
Yeah. So
even if they're out of sync.
Teddy, I'm going to answer your question quick. I mean, we have people in here that think all I do is sing nonsense, and I don't know what I'm talking about. They should actually check my records, Teddy. Yeah, go ahead.
But when you're singing nonsense and people don't like the nonsense that you're singing, what happens is that you're going to open yourself up to attacks. So
I love
keep singing.
Dude,
keep singing, and we'll keep clicking your ears.
I love the hate. I love the hate. It makes me happy. Anyway, to answer that question real quick from my perspective, Teddy, you have a situation here where Boston has owned this Florida team all season long. They've won all 4 games, and they've kept Florida off of the snide. I mean, Florida just has not put up a lot of goals against this Boston team all year. I think the most they put up was 3 spot in one of the games. So Boston has owned Florida all year. That's number one. And number two, Boston is in a serious revenge spot. Now, I don't necessarily love that concept, but here you have a situation. I'm about to explain, interrupter. Here you have a situation where Boston was the president. Boston set the record last season, I think, for the most wins ever in the regular season. Then they went up 3-1 in the first round against Florida and ended up losing not only in overtime in Game 7 in Florida, but the tying goal happened within the last minute of Game 7. Boston is chomping at the bit to beat Florida here. This is the team they want to face. This is a team they've owned all season long, and this is a team that they have a huge revenge factor against. That's really why I think the line is shorter, but I do agree that concept of a tired team coming out of a tough series, Game 7 against the Leafs, playing a well-rested Florida team who's had all the time in the world to sit back and wait. It's definitely interesting, and you were right, a fascinating side play here. Andrew, T-Wolves versus the Nuggets. Talk to us.
Game 2, guys. Home court still here for the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go up and over 106.5 for the team total here for Denver. Look, I'm going to take Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves scoring out of the picture. Just worry about one team here. Obviously, we see the T-Wolves go up 1-0 in this series, but what I have seen is 8 of the last 10 games, including the last game here for the Nuggets, they've gone over 106.5 points here. I know some of those regular season games, some of those being the playoffs, but the last 2 times that they lost this was the last game and then a victory over the LA Lakers where they won 102-99. I think one underrated factor of this Nuggets team, which doesn't get talked about enough because they have Joker, they have Murray, so many talented players, is Coach Malone. I think that they are great at making adjustments. If you look across the board, it's sometimes they have faced adversity, although it hasn't been much adversity over the last several years. He has the ability to make changes. Now, one thing I noticed from Game 1 compared to the previous series against the Lakers, there's a lot more of a presence in the paint. Let's be honest here. Anthony Davis, when he's not battling injuries, sure, he's at an impact in the paint, but he also loves to play in the perimeter. The Minnesota Timberwolves constantly have a guy in the paint protecting the rim, which is going to be an adjustment for the Denver Nuggets to deal with. I think in game 2, we'll see a lot more of a high-low game. I think we'll see a lot more driving kicks. I think we'll see a lot more field goal opportunities. And I also believe for the Denver Nuggets, we're going to see them utilize the fast break a lot more. Anthony Edwards, when he gets comfortable in the offensive sets, running 5-on-5, I think that Minnesota wants a slow-paced game. And I know you might think, well, Joker's the best player in the world. He's not that fast. Don't you think the Nuggets want a slow-paced game? And I still believe overall for the guards and for even Joker on the run, the fast break benefits them. Taking a look at game 1, some of the stats here, Minnesota with 82 field goal attempts compared to the 75 for the Nuggets. We saw 27 three-pointer attempts compared to 31 for the Nuggets there. But the rebounding battle, the points in the paint battle, the assist battle, all benefited the Nuggets. I think things change in game 2 here. Second game in the series, still at home for Denver. But I'm not taking the side. I'll just stick with the team total over 106.5.
So, I mean, Minnesota's been pretty elite defensively this postseason. That's their game plan. One would think would be, and of course, Jamal Murray's not 100% for Denver. How worried are you about Murray's injury affecting what the Nuggets want to do offensively? And how worried are you about Minnesota's elite defense containing the Nuggets on the wing?
Teddy, I'm even worried about KCP. I know that Jamal Murray is the guy I should be worrying more about, but just overall, I think depth is an underrated factor and an underrated part about this Nuggets team. With all the all-stars they have, I know they have Joker, but you need to have a lot of guys in the supporting cast. And for that reason, I truly believe getting out in the fast break, utilizing their speed, getting a defensive rebound and pushing forward is going to be a big part of the offense. I think that they're not the same team right now, especially with the injuries when they're playing 5-on-5 basketball. So I'm really curious. I think they're going to see a higher number of three-point attempts. We're going to see a lot more mid-range opportunities. And I think the biggest adjustment was that presence in the paint for the Timberwolves. They didn't really have to deal with as much against the Lakers. I know Anthony Davis was there, but this is a much different team with Towns there as well. So I think that it's a concern, Teddy, but I think still, even with the injuries, even with kind of the shortened bench, the supporting cast is actually the key for me in this wager. I actually like Christian Brown, his prop over 4.5 points. I bet him to get a 3-pointer tonight at plus money. I think the supporting cast steps up tonight. If we see Jokic just drop 30 points again, that's not really enough. Prez, I see you waving your hand as if most guests don't talk for 35 minutes. So I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys later, I guess.
Hey, Andrew, you spoke on Puck Time for 40 minutes today.
Okay.
I'm just worried about your voice, bro. I'm calling you in an hour and we're doing Bon Jovi duets all afternoon. Great show, everyone. Andrew, what do you got to promote?
Yeah, so I actually have a 7-3 NBA run right now. I know I do Puck Time every day, but I am in the mix on NBA, and my play tonight is in the other game going on. So that's my free play with the Nuggets team total, but I do have a best bet in the other game. And NHL props for tonight. The props started off slow in the playoffs, but we're really getting it together. And later on this afternoon, I'm going to have it packaged up. My full CFL season. We're 1 month away, officially 1 month away from the start of the CFL season. If you buy that package, you'll get the rest of my NHL's playoffs for free. So full CFL season, 4 of my 5 years at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we've made profit in the CFL. You guys call it the dog days of summer. I'm looking forward to it with the CFL.
Thank you, Andrew. Wonderful stuff. Teddy, great lineup all week. Guys, make sure to log in tomorrow. Watch the show. Let us know who your favorite 5 guests are, please. That would be great. Remember, I have a 4% play up tonight in NBA. I'm on a 14-0 run. We have no penalty box segment today as there's only one NHL game and I'm betting it. We are going to change it back to the presidential address at some point in the next little while and start incorporating some baseball picks. Teddy, what do you have going for the clients? And please, my brother, take us home.
Yeah, we have a single best bet in MLB and a single best bet in NBA for Monday night. You can check those packages out, wt.buzz/ Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us on WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your bets.